Greetings and welcome to ValueU. I'm Zaladrith and I'll be your instructor for today. Today's class is Tactics 230, Repositioning. Repositioning after being discovered has a few advantages and disadvantages. Immediate tactical advantages include invalidating any existing enemy callouts as you appear in a new place. Having multiple locations to appear from also has a high chance of breaking enemy crosshair placement or even allowing you to surprise enemies from outside the field of view. It helps isolate duels since there's more possible places you can be when you replenish defender's advantage. Longer term macro advantages can also include threatening map control in a larger area around the map. And it also conditions enemies to have to be warier in more situations, even across different rounds. As for disadvantages, the most important is that you surrender map control when you fall back. This means you lose the possibility of knowing where the enemies go as well. Repositioning also takes time, where you can't participate in fighting, which can leave teammates without help. To make up for these disadvantages, we should reposition when it's not feasible or valuable to hold map control, when you know where enemies will go, and when your teammates aren't in immediate trouble requiring immediate assistance. One of the best times is on defense, when you get discovered while getting info with an aggressive angle. Once you get spotted, you lose your defender's advantage, making re-peeking or holding unfeasible against superior enemy numbers. If enemies play carefully and respect you, they still need to use utility to clear out your last location, wasting resources and time. Time is the really important part here though, as usually you're stalling for defender rotations while enemies are trying to execute. To stall for as much time as possible, we can keep repositioning and reappearing in different locations so that enemies can't coordinate and use their numbers advantage on you effectively. Some other examples of repositioning opportunities is falling back after being discovered on a flank, since this map control is almost worthless, playing the spike with an open plant since you know where enemies have to go, or when you're on an aggressive lurk in enemy territory, where the territory is not valuable. So what steps should you take when repositioning? Step 1 is to break line of sight, either by moving to cover or by killing anyone that can see you. Step 2 is to pick a direction, location, or goal to move towards. Step 3 is to move undetected until you're discovered. Step 4 is to kill anyone that discovers you. And Step 5 is to repeat from Step 2, meaning you're allowed to change directions each time that you're discovered. If you're trying to avoid getting surrounded, continuously moving at the edge of your fog is often the best approach, as it maximizes the possible area that you can be in. If you're setting up an ambush or trying to defend territory and aren't worried about enemies sneaking up on you, then stopping at a strong location and setting up an advantage fight there is perfectly good as well. In this defense example, I start off in a relatively aggressive position, surprising this Jett who's facing the wrong way. Next, I smoke my cross to create more possible repositioning locations while I back up using the pillar as cover. My next swing is at different elevation from Ramp's point of view, and I luckily catch the Reyna who's not looking at me either, though I bail out as soon as I spot a second enemy. Since the enemy Phoenix is fighting, I swing again while he's distracted and shooting at my teammate, picking up the kill. In this short time period, I took 3 fights where enemies weren't looking at me, and picked up 2 kills and put out a lot of damage on Reyna while buying time for my teammates to rotate, even though I started the round completely on my own. In this example, while I bait my teammate, I end up surprising the enemies multiple times. They expect us both to be C-Link, but I surprise them by pushing in from Garage. Then, when they expect me Garage, I'm C-Link. And then finally, they expect me C-Link again, but once again I appear from Garage. This example is extremely straightforward and simple since there's really only 2 entryways to this site, so they essentially just lost multiple coin flips in a row. However, had I not taken the time to reposition, there wouldn't have been an opportunity for them to lose coin flips. While repositioning can be at a tactical level, you can also reposition at a macro level to catch enemies off guard. Since I know Sova was last seen on site, I figure he'd waste time and possibly util trying to retrieve the spike. So as soon as I'm out of earshot, I start running undetectably, continuing to run until my audio circle is about to reach a location that he could hear me, before I shift walk in for my free kill. From his perspective, I could have approached from hookah, long, or spawn, and he either gambled that spawn was the least likely option, or he didn't even consider it at all as he prepped ult for the tap. In summary, repositioning confers many benefits like invalidating enemy callouts, breaking crosshair placement, isolating duels, replenishing defender's advantage, and conditioning enemies to respect map control. It has a few downsides like surrendering map control and taking a lot of time. You should reposition when the downsides don't matter, such as when it's not worth it to hold map control, you know where enemies will go, and you want to stall for time. And repositioning can also be effective at a macro scale. That's all for today's lesson. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the lecture or the TAs in the comments below. Thanks for attending, and we hope you enjoy your stay here at ValueU.
This is actually our last game.
30 seconds left.
Cool.
Spike down
Isn't this the
A.
first game?
One enemy remaining. 10 seconds left. Spike planted.
Ace. Congrats, Eric. I was not watching at all.
Ace.
Worthless dead fools.